Hey guys, this is 7.5 in MSTC, excuse me, MSTC Algebra 2. Section 7.5 is on polynomial long division, and this is how I feel about polynomial long division. This is some number crunching at its best. So to introduce this, let's talk about long division, like you did in 4th grade. If I want to divide the number 4 into the number 7681126, then these are the steps that follow. I ask myself, how many times will 4 go into 7? And that's 1. I encourage you to change the phrasing of that question and ask yourself this instead. What do you need to multiply 4 by to not go over 7? What do you need to multiply 4 by to get 7 and you can't go over? So that would be 1. And that phrasing is going to help us with our polynomial long division. So then you multiply the 1 by the 4 and write the result underneath, and then you subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3, and then the 6 comes down, and you get 36. So now, how many times will 4 go into 36? Or what do you need to multiply 4 by to get 36? The answer is 9. 9 times 4 is 36. That one went in even, so I get 0. Drop my 8. What do I need to multiply 4 by to get 8? By 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract and get 0. Drop the 1. What do you need to multiply 4 by to get 1? Well, 0. I can't multiply it by anything. Get a 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. Drop the other 1. What do I need to multiply 4 by to get 11? 2. That's 8. 11 minus 8 is 3. Drop the 2. 4 times 8 is 32. 0. Drop the 6. 4 times 1 is 4. And I'm left with 2. Now there are a couple ways that you could deal with this extra 2. You could go 0.000 and get some more decimal places. I remember the first time I learned it, I would say R2, meaning there were 2 left over after I divvied up the 7681126 among 4 different people. I had 7,681,126, and I gave it all equally to 4 of you. There'd be $2 left over. Lots of ways to deal with it. I'm going to, for sake of comparing it to what we're doing now, we are going to say plus 2/4. That's probably not how you did it in 4th grade long division, but that's what we're going to do with the polynomials. All right, so let's get to it. Polynomial long division. All right, so an example would look like this. One moment. Okay, so you would have something like 5x cubed plus 3x minus 8 over or divided by x minus 1. All right, so the bottom number goes on the outside, and 5x cubed plus 3x minus 8 goes on the inside. One thing that you have to remember, and it gets forgotten all the time, is you need a placeholder. If you don't have any x squareds, right, plus 0x squareds. This is a very orderly and linear and straight-lined organized operation. And you need a vertical row that stands for the x squared. So if you don't have one, just put a 0x squared. Now, just using the x out here, what do you need to multiply x by to get 5x cubed? I could say how many times does x go into 5x cubed, but we're rephrasing that answer or that question because it's a lot easier to answer it this way. What do you need to multiply x by to get 5x cubed? The minus 1 doesn't factor into this decision at all. And the answer to the question is 5x squared. And list it, because it's squared, list it right above the 0x squared. to keep it orderly. Now multiply the 5x squared by both of the terms out front, and you get 5x cubed minus 5x squared. Now these first two terms better match up exactly. Otherwise, either you chose the wrong thing to go on the top, or you multiplied it incorrectly to write it underneath. We're going to subtract, just like we did in 4th grade. 5x cubed minus 5x cubed is 0 every time. 0x squared minus negative 5x squared is plus 5x squared. You don't have to write this 0 every time. Just wanted to show you that it will be 0, and if it's not, something's wrong. And another thing that happens wrong every time, or every year, get lots of mistakes by people wanting to say negative 5x squared here. This negative sign applies to both of these terms. So I have a minus negative, which is a plus 5x squared. Now, what did we do in 4th grade? We dropped the next number down. So let's drop the next number down and repeat. What do you need to multiply x by to get 5x squared? Answer is 5x. Okay, now multiply. 5x squared minus 5x. Okay, think in your mind what's going to go below this line when I subtract. Please don't be thinking negative 2x. Instead, be thinking 8x, because it's all being subtracted. And 3 minus negative 5 is 3 plus 5, which is 8. So drop the negative 8 down, because that's our next step. What do you need to multiply x by to get 8x? And that is positive 8. And I get 8x minus 8. Now this one just happens to perfectly subtract away, give me 0. So I had no remainder. Therefore, my answer is right here. If I had, just for argument's sake, had a 2 down there, I would have gone plus 2 over x minus 1. But I don't have that 2, so I don't have any remainder. All right, so that's your first polynomial long division of the year, and I hope you enjoyed it. One more thing to help speed this up when possible. Let's take that same problem and not flip it around and drag it down and do it a little bit faster way. Now, this only works if you have on the bottom x, 1x plus or minus a number. This is called synthetic division. Now, if you have something like 2x plus 3 on the bottom or 4x minus 2 on the bottom, this synthetic division won't work. These are out. This works for 1x plus or minus any number. Now what synthetic division does basically is it gets all the x's and x squareds and x cubes out of the way, and it just lets you deal with the coefficients, and then at the end puts them back in place. So here's how synthetic division sets up. If you have x minus 1 on the bottom, put a positive 1 in a little half a box to start. Now next to that, list all of your coefficients. 5x cubed, 0x squared, you still need the placeholder even in synthetic, 3x, and negative 8. Now skip a line to write some numbers in and draw a horizontal line below that. Now, synthetic division goes like this. The 5 just drops straight down. Okay, that's your first step every time. Just drop the 5 straight down. Now you're going to start this repeating process where you multiply 5 by 1 and write the result here, and then add. 0 plus 5 is 5. Multiply 5 times 1, write the result here. 5 times 1 is 5. So I'll write a 5 right here. And add. 3 plus 5 is 8. Multiply. 8 times 1 is 8. Write it here. And add. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. And these 5, 5, 8, and 0 hopefully look familiar, because these are going to be your remainder, your constant, which is your term with no x's, your x term, your x squared term, and if there were more terms, we would have the x cubed and x to the fourth and whatever we needed. So now you just write your answer. 5x squared plus 5x plus 8 with no remainder, which is what we got the long way above, 5x squared plus 5x plus 8. So starting right now, anytime you're dividing by an x minus 1 or an x plus 3 or an x plus 8 or whatever, it's just a single x plus or minus a constant, you can use synthetic division. Maybe if you want to play around with it, figure out why it does not work for something like 2x plus 4 down here. Y, that's impressive spelling. And can you adjust something to make it work? You can invent your own synthetic division. I don't really know the answer to these questions at the moment. I'll give you some extra credit if you can answer those two questions in red. Why it won't work, and can you do some adjustment to the process to make it work, so that we can always do synthetic division either way. As of right now, if you have a 1x plus or minus a number, use synthetic. You don't have to. You never have to do this. You can just go long division if you're more comfortable doing it this way, but synthetic is an option. Okay, so that's this section. 7.5 is about long division. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope that right now you feel like that. All right, this is Hoven out.